All right. Well, thanks again, everybody, for watching this video. I'm very excited to get an opportunity to interview Connor. Connor, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, my name's Connor Olive. I'm kind of a senior. I have 2 semesters left. One of them will be spent in Japan, so I don't know if that really counts. But yeah, I'm a computer science student here at the U of A, and then I study music through Berkeley Online.
Cool. Tell me more about your studying of music in Berkeley Online. What got you interested in that?
Uh, I've been interested in music since I was a little kid. My parents put me in piano lessons when I was like 4, and I never really stopped. So I want to do soundtracks for movies, video games, that type of thing. So I'm learning how to write music.
That's awesome. That's great.
Yeah.
So you've had this background. Why did you decide to attend the University of Arizona?
Um, it's a few different reasons. One is I've lived in Tucson for probably the longest out of anywhere else, and so all my family's here. I got a little sister at home, and my parents are only 30 minutes away, so if I ever get hungry, I can just drive over there and get some really good food. But I initially wanted to do astrophysics, and so the U of A has a really good astrophysics program, and at the time that was the reason.
Oh, that's great. Out of curiosity, what high school did you go to here in Tucson?
Ironwood.
Ironwood. Cool. All
Yeah.
right. During your experience here growing up in Tucson and having your interest in music and being interested in astrophysics, what led you to select computer science as your major?
I was talking to some people in the field of astrophysics and just physics in general, and they were telling me it was the realistic view of it is sitting at a desk and doing a lot of math all day. And I like math, but I don't think I like math that much. So instead, I decided well, during COVID, I got bored and started messing around with computers, and I got into like coding my own stuff and hacking stuff. And so then found a new love for computers. So then I decided I would switch to sitting at a desk and staring at a screen all day instead.
So now you're a computer science major and you've been in this department for, a bit. What have
Mhm.
you enjoyed most about your experience here at the University of Arizona in the computer science department?
Um, there's a lot. Like learning new programming languages is always a ton of fun. It relates to more than just doing homework, I've noticed. So even doing homework for another class, you can kind of script it and just have fun with that too. Um, it's a lot. Let's see. What all did I write down?
I think you talked a little bit about, you and I have chatted a little bit about your specific classes that you were thinking about, like 252 and MIPS and reverse engineering.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit more about that.
So after I learned about MIPS assembly, I got more into like assembly language and machine code. So like the really as it was annoying at the time, but now it's kind of fun. Like everything's just addition, right? So it's a bunch of addition problems to do subtraction and multiplication and everything. Um, but you can take binaries and like executables and video games and dig into the compiled version of it and then take it out as the assembly code. So then you can mess around and change the games and reverse engineer a bunch of different stuff, which is super good for like everything. So if there's like a new hack that's out there, or someone downloads something, or I download something on purpose to reverse engineer it, I can figure out like how those people are doing all those scary things.
Oh, it's interesting. So does that align with what your career goals are, or what are your career goals?
So in computer science, it's to start hacking companies for a living, but in the sense of there's a job out there called penetration testing, where companies will pay you to come out to wherever their headquarters or whatever building they want to have you get access to, and they'll pay you to break into the building like a burglar and then hack their networks while you're in there. or they'll do something like fake hire you. So they could hire you, be like, oh, you're on the marketing team. And so then they give you your work laptop and you go into their office for a couple of weeks and then just see how much damage you can do if you were like internal threat. And then you present all of these things to like the head of security or whoever hired you, be like, this is all the things you did wrong. This is how you fix them. And then they keep hiring you next year.
So that kind of aligns with a club that you're heavily involved with, which is the Hack the Flag Club. So maybe you could tell us a little bit more about Hack the Flag Club and your role in that club.
Yeah, so I started it a couple of semesters ago, so last spring, and I was looking for a group of people or a team that did the hacking stuff that I was recently interested in. But they didn't have one anymore because this was post-COVID, so a lot of stuff died out before then. So I decided just to start it myself and try and gather a bunch of people who might be interested in it. Um, yeah, so when you're learning to hack, you're interested in the legal professional field of it. Um, you do what are called CTFs or capture the flag competitions, and they're set up so that there's real servers, real computers, real websites, and they have real data that you got to hack into them for. And then you'll submit that data for a set amount of points based on the difficulty of the machine you're trying to get into. Um, and so these competitions are against other universities, other teams, sometimes security companies, and you just compete for points. So in the club, we learn a bunch of different hacking techniques, and I teach the ones that I already know. That can be anything from hacking websites to cryptography to reverse engineering, as I was talking about. Um, yeah, we meet a few different times a week. I do like a lesson sort of thing online for an hour once a week, and then we meet in person for 2 hours and just hang out and practice. And then on weekends, we do competitions that can last anywhere from 24 to 72 consecutive hours.
That sounds pretty intense. So the Hack the Flag Club participated in you said it was called the National Cyber League. Um,
Hmm.
you all
The
participated in this
NCL.
last fall, right? Yeah,
Yep.
NCL. You participated in the season last fall. Tell us a little bit more about NCL. And you kind of alluded to the competition events that happen on the weekend that they can range. How did things go for the team this past season?
It went a lot better than expected, like way, way better than expected. So the competition is something that was shared with me from someone else that I know who does this type of thing. Um, but it's specifically designed for college students and beginners for CTFs. And so like when you sign up, you declare what school you're competing on behalf of, and then you kind of get to work and the school gets points. And so you're competing against like ASU, all the Ivy League schools, like everyone who has a CTF team is kind of involved with it, which makes it very, very difficult. Um, but they have a cool program that lasts all semester long. So they have like a practice gym. So you can go in and they have like all their old problems and with walkthroughs, and they'll show you kind of what the competition looks like and what the questions look like. And then from there, they have an individual team where you work by yourself, kind of. And then the team competition where everyone kind of gets together or breaks off into teams of seven and do it that way. So it's a Jeopardy style, which means that you get a list of all the different challenge types, which is like, say, there's like the website section, cryptography section, OSINT section, reverse engineering section, and then you pick your question based off difficulty. And like Jeopardy, the harder ones are worth more points. But our club, which is full of people who are doing it for the first time ever, that was their first competition that they've ever done. We got 10th nationally out of 470 different universities, which is way better than ASU did. And but yeah, being especially a group of people who had never touched hacking before, never touched CTFs before, it's it was really cool. But even more than that, so I was saying earlier that like companies and everything participate. So that's also true for this beginner competition. So in total, there was 3,926 teams that competed, which is a little bit more than the 470 universities, and we still placed 214th out of all of those, which is, I think, could be more impressive than just the university thing.
Right, because you're talking about security companies that are kind of like the experts in this kind of
Yeah,
field, right? So that's wow,
exactly.
that's really impressive. Kudos to you and the team. That's wonderful. Let's say I'm a student who's here at the University of Arizona who wants to get involved in Hack the Flag. How could I do that?
There's a few different ways. So the university has a campus groups website, which you can go in, and it's like a catalog of all the different clubs that are there, where all the officially recognized clubs are on there. And we're on there, so you can just log in with your at Arizona email and then just hit sign up, and I'll get a notification and invite you in. We have a Discord. That's where most of the announcements and everything happens. Or you can just email me, which is connorolive@arizona.edu. Or just show up. It's in the Idea Lab every Wednesday from 5 to 7.
Awesome. That's great. I hope this video encourages others to participate. Sounds like it would be a great club to join. So thanks for sharing about that club. In general, we always end these videos with like maybe some advice you would like to give to students, an incoming student at the University of Arizona. And let's say that they've selected computer science. They're going to start in the fall. What advice would you give them?
Sure. Utilize everything. There's a lot of cool stuff that I found way too late, and I wish I played around with a lot more before my final semesters. Like even small stuff, like the library has 3D printing machines, and they're really cheap to use. And why would you not want to 3D print something? There's a bunch of new VR stuff in the library, I think. I haven't had a chance to use it yet, but I'm definitely going to. Um, Also, just talk to a bunch of people, including professors that aren't yours. Like if there's someone who teaches something or studies something that you're interested in, figure out how you can get interested too, or get involved with it too. Um, there's a lot of cool stuff. If you have like a personal project, like one that I was doing last semester, I wanted a Raspberry Pi to make some little hacking tools, and they're impossible to get right now, but the school has a couple, so I could just borrow one. Like there's a lot of stuff. Definitely use all of it.
Great. That's great advice. Is there anything else you want the viewers, the audience to know?
Just join the club. It's a lot of fun. There's a lot of people. Um, 20 people meet in person regularly. We got over 100 people who are involved online, and you not knowing anything is perfectly fine. It's not as intimidating as you think.
That's great. Thanks, Connor, for sharing your advice, for telling us about Hack the Flag, and for your continued. I wish for your continued success in that group. So that's cool.
Thank you.
All right. Well, have a good one. Take care.
See you.